Hey, shalom, shalom. It's the brother Abba, your bud from the DC Church. Coming at you, giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, Ba'ashem meaning in the name, Rakal meaning spirit, Kodash meaning holy. Alright? These are the names and the powers that I come to you in order to profess the 100% truth, and Lord's will seal the elect's faith. Alright? Shani Kabaga, Wella Rakaz, Ukoyim Na Ba'aith, meaning double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS in these times, whom the Heavenly Father had enlisted the 100% truth to, okay, in order for the elect to be sealed. And Shalom wa Barakam Labakar Shayasha Allah, peace and blessings be upon the elect of the nation of Israel, okay, or the nation of Yasha Allah. And Shalom wa Barakam Labakar Shayasha Allah. You know, peace and blessings be upon the elect of the nation of Israel. But without further ado, I wanted to title this video, you know, Gross Darkness, the World. You know, gross darkness is the world, or this world is gross darkness. And really the context of this video is going to be more so of just, you know, training your spirit to be adverse to the things that that are of this world, or that pertain to this world. And this is something that we know, and this is something that we practice from day to day, but it's something that we can still allow ourselves to get a little bit more versed in. And also, you got to also train your mind and reconstruct your mind to the point to where things that pertain to this world, you know, don't really entice you as much as it used to when you were a child in this faith, you know. And even if you are a child in this faith, and you know, you've got 2 years on your belt, 3 years on your belt, you know, which, you know, even sometimes 5, even 6. But when you get to like 5 and 6, almost 7 years in this faith, there's just certain things that, you know, is a standard, is an expectation for you after a while. Because you got to understand, this truth is just like a job. And once you've worked so many years, like, they don't, your supervisor or your the head, or whoever's in your whoever's in your job that's ahead of you is not expecting you to make the same mistakes that you made when you first started working the first 3 months, okay? But that happens, in our case, this is relative to the world, because we know what the scriptures say. Well, the scriptures say in 1 John chapter 2, verse 15, all the way down to, I believe, 19, that, you know, actually, I'd rather bring it out. I'd rather roughly read over it. But basically it says that in this world there's nothing but the lust of the flesh, the pride of life, you know, things that are absolutely contrary to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay. Verse 15, 1 John chapter 2, verse 15, it says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." It says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. Okay, so these are things that typically would entice a man, and will also make a man do things contrary to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because it said it is not these things are not of the Heavenly Father, it's of the world. Okay, Salakia. All right. So these are things, it says, is in the world, the lust of the flesh, right? It's pleasure, okay? And understand this too. There are two types of pleasure. There's righteous pleasure and there's wicked pleasure, okay? But I say this, you know, typically pleasure that's vain could lead to pleasure that is wicked, okay? Pleasure that is vain is like sexual intercourse, okay? Like shopping, gaming, you know, those are pleasures that a man has that are honestly vain, because it doesn't allow you to grow in spirit. Anything that doesn't edify your spirit, or that doesn't uplift your spirit, is technically vain. Because if you're not feeding the spirit, you're feeding the flesh. There's no in between. So that's why, you know, that would consist of the lust of the flesh. It's pleasures. Okay? This dude, Salakia. You know, this dude driving like an asshole, but you have to train your mind and you have to train your heart to not be solemnly attached to the pleasures or the lust of the flesh, because that's really that's the main one that really tricks up a lot of men in this truth. Okay? And that's why I was thinking of, that's why I was naming this video, you know, gross darkness is in this world. Okay? Which is a rough paraphrase of Isaiah, the 60th chapter. Okay? Where it tells you gross darkness covered the people, man. Okay? But that's why we, as children of light, have to be adverse to the children of darkness or the children of this world. Okay? Because all that is in this world is straight darkness. And which those things that insist of darkness is what's is also what's expounded on in in 1 John chapter 2 verse 15 through 19. Okay? Because you got to understand it. Another thing too is everything in this world, all the pleasures of this world is temporal. And the Lord doesn't deal with things that are temporal. He deals with things that are eternal. That's why righteousness, everything that's on the right-hand side is eternal. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding, life, spirits. Like, I mean, everything that's on the right-hand side of Yahweh Shema Shai, or I would say rather Yahweh, it's eternal. Okay? There's no start date and no end date to it. It's just, it exists. Just like his name. Okay? Just like him. And that's part of the reason why he loves those things, because it's eternal. Alright? And then when we start seeking after ways that insist of this world, us as men that are supposed to be seekers of things that are eternal are seeking of things that are temporal. And that's where, and when our quest for things that are temporal, you know, on our quest for things that are temporal, you begin to start losing sight of the things that are eternal. That's when the Heavenly Father punishes you. Okay? And that's why the scriptures, that's so beautiful, because that's why the scriptures, and with that being said, that gives more context to I believe it's 2 Corinthians Salakia, chapter 4, verse 17. It says, "For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal, just like I stated, weight of glory." Okay? So even the glory that we're going to receive is going to be eternal. But I want to digress for 2 seconds. I'm saying all this to say that we are not a part of this world, and we want to stay far away from this world. And although you do have experience in the word of Yahweh Shema Shai, you still also have to keep a keen eye out for your enemy, which is spiritual demon Satan. Okay, because the scriptures do state how, Satan go about, be diligent, because your adversary, the devil, go about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Okay, so we have to keep a circumspect eye toward the wiles and the tactics of spiritual demon Satan, man. Okay, so it says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. And the things that are not seen, that are eternal, are all things that pertain to righteousness. And most things that are temporal are either vain or wicked. Okay? And like I said, now, again, when it comes to vanity, there's a thin line between vanity and sin, because as I stated when I was at camp, with the Philly Bros, you know, vanity is a slippery slope. All right, because the more you indulge in things that are vain, the more apt you are to sin. Okay, the more liable you are to sin, I'd rather say. Okay, because if you keep doing things that insist of vanity, it's later on going to lead to transgression. Okay. Because like I said, you know, gaming is neither bad nor good, but if you overindulge in it, you could get lost in that. Now you're starting to allocate all your time toward that. Sex is neither good nor bad. Of course, you know, you get unclean after you ejaculate, but at the same time, it's not a sin. But if you keep indulging in it, you may fall down the line and probably even commit adultery. Okay? So that's why I'm saying, you know, you have to be aware. You have to be aware being in this world, because it's just nothing but darkness in this world. And we, as children of light, have to preserve our light, which the scriptures also state in 1 John, the 1st chapter, that Yahweh Shema Shai is light. Okay? So we have to retain and also keep the Heavenly Father's Spirit on us. All right? So, I mean, that was kind of really the main point. The main point that I wanted to make is that, you know, there's gross darkness in this world, and we want to keep a keen eye out to the things that pertaineth to righteousness. Okay, you want to keep a circumspect eye so that, you know, Satan can't catch you unawares. All right. But with that, hey, I give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shema Shabbat Shem Kokadash and Yakabaga Walla Rakaza Queen Naba Ice, wa Shalom wa Barakum Labakan Shiyasha Allah. Shalom Makyam. Until next time.